Okay, guys, here is your positive quote for the day. Remember that you need to record this in your quote journal, and you need to pick your favorite one of the week and turn that in on Friday, and you need to tell me why you picked the quote that you picked. Okay, we're going to start talking about the compromises over slavery, but before we can do that, we need to look at the individuals who were involved, and we will come back to these people periodically through the compromise lesson. So I need you to take notes on each one on your graphic organizer that we created yesterday. And you can use this PowerPoint, or you can use the copy of the PowerPoint that I provided at each group. I'm not going to read all the details on each screen. I'm just going to tell you the person's name and give you a brief description. So you're going to have to follow along and use your multitasking skills. All right, the first guy is Henry Clay. He was born on April 12, 1777, and he died on June 29, 1852. He wanted to preserve the Union, that's here in bold blue, and he is considered the great compromiser because of all of his work that he did throughout. Okay, our next individual is John C. Calhoun. He was from South Carolina. And because he was in the South, he was a politician that defended slavery, and him and Henry Clay are going to continually battle in Congress over this issue. Okay, Daniel Webster. Yes, he's the individual of Webster's Dictionary. He followed along with Henry Clay. He was from the North, and I'll just read this part to you. As with his fellow Whig, Henry Clay, and we talked about the Whig Party last week, Webster's desire was to preserve the Union and prevent civil war. So his work was a continual compromise over the slavery issue to prevent the Civil War from happening. Okay, then we have Stephen Douglas. He was an American politician from Illinois. And he was part of the Northern Democratic Party, and he was nominated for the Democratic Party as the presidential candidate, but he lost to Abraham Lincoln, which we know because we already looked at that. Okay, and Charles Sumner, he was an American politician from Massachusetts. He was a lawyer. He was a powerful orator. And orator means somebody who speaks very well. He was leader of the anti-slavery forces in Massachusetts, and unfortunately, he was, it's kind of a funny story now, but not funny back then, but Preston Brooks went to his office in the Congress and beat him with a stick, and brutally beat him to where he almost died. Preston Brooks was for slavery. He was from South Carolina, and he defended it. And going back to, Charles Sumner, who was against slavery, that was his way of defending his cause. Not a really good way, in my opinion. But here is a famous cartoon. And remember, we talked about political cartoons and how they're not funny. It's just the form of media to get information out. But this is a picture of Preston Brooks beating on Charles Sumner in his chamber. So you will see this in history books when you study U.S. history in school, if you go on to college. Any book about the Civil War will have this famous cartoon in it. So, those are the individuals, and I will run through it one more time, really quick, just to show you the pictures again. This is Henry Clay, John C. Calhoun, Daniel Webster, Stephen A. Douglas, Charles Sumner, Preston Brooks. So we will be talking about these individuals for the next couple of weeks as we go on to the road to the Civil War.